welcome you now to another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast, where we talk about Latino everything. Thank you very much for being here on another amazing episode. Today we have a very, very special guest, our very first doctor in the house. Today we have a bilingual, holistic chiropractor and life coach. He helps women and men stay sober and give sustainable, no, tongue twister, results with personal plans. Doctor Francisco Guerrero en la casa. How you doing?
What's up? I'm doing great. Nice to be here. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me here.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for being here. Sorry for the stumbling part. I should have practiced that a little bit more. But yeah, you're a chiropractor. You're a doctor. Our first ever in the podcast.
Nice.
Seen your social media. Seen the things that you're doing. I really like your approach as far as the ways that I think about and the things that I align myself with. And I think it's pretty cool. So
Appreciate
thank you.
it. Yeah, it's a little hardcore on some people, but if somebody's triggered, then that's the truth. Like it's revealing to them, and there's a reason why some people get triggered with some of my stuff that I put out there. Like I'm just trying to be as real as possible, and the truth hurts. So I know we've heard the saying, the truth does hurt. So nobody wants to hear the truth. They want to hide from the truth and numb themselves from the truth. So that's where I'm trying to get people to see the truth, like wake up.
Yep. So we're going to be too real in this episode. Get ready. All right. For first of all, we're going to go ahead and start with a segment that I like to call Preguntas al Chile. Some of you are familiar with it. Go check it out. If you have any suggestions of things that you want me to switch out, let me know. Are you ready?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Tacos or tortas?
Tacos. Yeah.
How pleasant, how good, how nutrition, how in our diet, how good are they for us? Are they really bad? Not so good?
I think they're really good. It just depends on the oil you cook it with. Like if you're cooking it with crappy oil, then that's gonna do your health wrong. But it has the carbs, it has the protein, which we need. Mm-hmm. The fat is also what we really need. The carbs is not so much important, but that's if you're a bodybuilder, then we're gonna be looking at the carbs. Like if you want to build a good physique. Yeah. But if you have too much fat and too much carbs, then that's where you're going to gain the weight. You're going to get unhealthy.
Right.
And most of the population is unhealthy here in the United States. So, you got to proportionalize your portions as far as your carbs, fats, and protein. So,
okay. What you see all these articles online about which oil is this, avocado oil, coconut oil, blah, blah, blah oil. Mm-hmm. There's always a new type of oil coming up. Mm-hmm. To your recommendation, or based on what you study, what you've seen, what you heard, what is the best oil to cook stuff on?
I mean, it's a very controversial topic with the oils. A lot of people, it's a big debate nowadays. Like it's like yesterday or a couple of days ago, I posted something about a product that they sell at Costco, and it was just a marketing. It was false advertisement. It was basically like it's a healthy cereal, but they cook it with high oleic seed oil. Sunflower oil, which is not good for women because it causes infertility, but people don't want to hear that. They want to, they just think that by proportion. Yeah. So what I just recommend is, just focus cooking your food with grass-fed organic butter. Mm-hmm. Like that's how we should approach it. But people will say, oh no, that's how you're going to get fat. But that's the true original cooking oil. You can even cook with lard. You can cook with ghee. That's even better than canola oil. Canola oil is like the worst thing you can cook with. And that's what the restaurants are. Pretty much every restaurant is cooking with the cheapest oil, which is canola oil, frying oil. So that's what's clogging up people.
Peanut oil?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. For somebody that's vegan, that doesn't eat any meat because the vegan life chose them, what do you recommend as far as the oil? What would be the best?
I don't know too much about veganism, so I can't really say too much about that. But all I know is they need vitamin B12, which is in meat. Okay. And that's important to make sure that you're consuming enough of.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Corn tortilla or flour tortilla?
Corn tortilla. Okay. Just because it's healthier, but I love flour tortilla because it tastes better.
Okay. Yeah. Carlos found a TikTok video of tortillas that are made out of oatmeal. Very easy recipe to do. Do you think it's a good recommendation to switch that out for the corn or not necessarily?
I don't think it's necessarily needed, but if you want to go a little bit healthier route than the oat, you can even do, I think there's other ways, lentil tortillas, carrot tortillas. So You can make tortillas out of anything.
Right.
But I've never tried any of those tortillas, so I
Mm-hmm.
can't really speak to it.
Cool.
Yep.
Gorditas or pupusas?
I think pupusas, even though I want to say gorditas because I'm Mexican, but pupusas too. You know, I've been to El Salvador 3 times. So
Really? That's pretty cool.
yeah, I love pupusas as well. So
Yeah, the
it's just-
flavor,
yeah,
everything they do.
yeah,
Like,
it's just
which one
different.
do you think is better as far as health wise?
Health wise,
Healthier option?
I
Not
think
really.
they're about the same. I mean, they're both made out of flour. So
Right.
yeah, that's another thing. We got to know our resources of like the flour, like
Yeah.
because the flour can also be processed as well. So we got to be careful with the processed stuff.
That's true too. So everything
Yeah.
supposed to be on the label, right? You can look into the
Mhm.
label and really read through it, Google whatever you see in there,
Mhm.
kind of sort of educate yourself as like what it is if
Yeah.
you don't understand it. So we can't.
Exactly.
If you want to be ignorant because you don't want to be lazy, and I didn't
And
call you
read the
ignorant.
label.
I'm just saying if you're being lazy and want to be ignorant and you don't want to look it up just to be informed, then that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get whatever they give you.
And that's like an important thing that we should do. We should be looking at the food labels and studying what's in the ingredients. And most importantly, know our macronutrients. A lot of people don't know about our macronutrients, which is our carbs, fats, and proteins. And we should know like how much we should be consuming.
Okay. This is something that I always hear all the time on influencers, nutritional people talking about different things like that. I don't get it. I don't get macro. I don't get what exactly they mean. Can you kind of sort of tell us and simplify it to if you were talking to like a 8th grader, easiest way to you, and this is what it is. Simplify it for me. What would that be?
So they always recommend for 8th graders, they talk about the food pyramid. They recommend a standard American diet,
Mm-hmm.
which I think they say 3,200 calories is the standard American diet. Cheese, milk is like in the base, breads is in the top, or out of the food pyramid.
Whatever it is.
So the macros, they don't really teach us how much carbs, proteins, fats we should be eating in grams. Like we should be calculating that, and also the calories as well. Like we should be aiming towards a target amount of calories. If we don't know how to calculate that then our food consumption is going to be skyrocketed to the roof, and we're not going to know how much we're really eating. And a lot of us are desensitized of like how much we're eating. So we overconsume food, hence why 70% of the US population is overweight. And I believe it's about 40 to 50% of the US population is obese. And obesity is a disease. So people have to know how much we're eating, because if we don't know, then that cycle, that it's actually a curse. It's a disease, and people end up dying at an early age because they don't know how much they're eating. So super important to know like how much we're eating. And then on top of that, the quality of our foods is, we can learn more about that later on, but we have to control how much we're eating, because food can be drugs as well.
So based on the weight, you can find something online based on how much weight something has. You can kind of sort of see how many macros it has and how many you need based on your body type, your weight, and things like that.
Exactly. Yeah, you can look it up online.
Is there calculators that you can go and maybe download? Okay.
Yeah. MyFitnessPal, you can just insert, but you have to like work with somebody that actually like knows what they're talking about, because you don't want to just ask the computer. I mean, the computer might be a little accurate, but if you have somebody that's already in the field and just doing it and getting constant results, and is actually a living representation of somebody healthy, then, get their guidance. There's nothing wrong with getting somebody's guidance or a coach that can actually like hold your hand and show you how to do it without wasting time guessing on how to, get a better body, get healthier. We have to invest in ourselves. We have to invest in ourselves versus, wasting our money on products that we think that might be working, or, stuff that, might end up making us worse, or buying dumb stuff or just getting caught up in the parties or in the vices. And,
to me, I
wasting
think
a lot of time.
Recently, that macro word just kept popping up more to me. I just didn't bother to look at it. I didn't know where it started just being more trendy. More people were just knowing that you're supposed to know a little bit about macros and things like that. And I just just with my ignorance, probably.
Most people are overeating, and macros is important. Calories, caloric deficit is important, but you don't want to starve yourself. You want to make sure that you're getting the right amount of macros to build muscle. You don't want to just lose weight and and lose your muscle.
Yeah.
You want to maintain muscle. We need muscle to feel strong. We don't want to look skinny or skinny fat. So you want to make sure that you have a decent physique as well, and not just go on a fad diet caloric deficit thinking that you're going to starve yourself, or on a fast, you're going to lose muscle.
Right.
And you're going to look weaker. So
is intermittent fasting something that you practice? Is something that you know about, you care to know?
No,
Don't really
not
know?
really.
It's like if you eat for a period of 4-6 hours and then the rest you fast. the
Yeah, I
entire
heard
time.
about it. No,
Yeah.
I fasted like once
Yeah.
per week for a while. I was doing that for maybe like 5 months.
You think it's necessary? Whenever I tell people, because I fasted before for a few days, and people thought I lost my mind because I did that, and it was crazy to them that you can able to minimum one day stop eating and don't eat nothing at all.
Yeah,
And
it's
to
empowering.
them, it's mind blowing that I can, if I wanted to do
It's
that.
probably mind blowing to them because they never tried it, or they never felt that experience. And really, it's a spiritual experience. It shouldn't be just about, oh, I'm going to lose weight, gain, get a better body, I'm going to feel better. It's more about connecting to source, to God.
Yeah.
It's a spiritual thing. Even in the Bible, it says they fasted. Jesus fasted for however long he did. So it's more, if we see it more of a spiritual thing, we can connect to that and get the messages from universal intelligence from God.
For me, it was more of a logical thing that if I'm eating and not giving my body enough time to rest and process my stuff, and I just keep feeding it and feeding it, not letting it do its thing, then of course I'm just overeating instead of just allowing it to work everything out in my gut, and then I'm good a couple days later or a day later, you know?
Yeah, there's so much like physiological benefits behind fasting as well. Like even with cancer, like it kills off cancer cells as well.
Oh, wow.
Depending on I think it's like 2 or 3 days of fasting.
Oh, wow.
Just like liquid fasting. So there's a lot of fasting. You can even, they said your growth hormone also increases, and there's so many benefits of it. You just cleanse yourself. So that's like one of the natural ways we can heal ourselves. And there's a lot of people that are sick out there that, that they might be, they can benefit from fasting. And like I said, it's more of a spiritual thing, like if you think about it like that, but you can also get physiological benefits from it too. But we got to be careful with fasting because a lot of people think that they're going to lose weight with fasting. But like I said, they end up losing muscle, they end up getting weaker, or they might overeat whenever they do start eating again, like intermittent fasting. So they might still overeat or eat the same amount of food rather than versus of what they could have ate during that fasting.
Okay. What is your typical time for you, like eating habits? What are yours? 2 meals a day, 3 meals a day?
About 3 meals average. I try to shoot for 5 meals, so I kind of get like little small meals. But right now I'm like on I'm on the cutting phase right now. So yeah, I'm doing 1,800 calories right now.
1,800? And for your size, your type, I don't know how tall are you? About
6 foot. Yeah.
And you're supposed to be what weight for you?
For me, I believe I'm supposed to be around like 180, 190. I'm about 196 right now.
So that's where you're supposed to be at.
Yeah, but I want to get to 200, 220.
You want to be
just stay there.
Competition wise, or
no, just
the look?
Yeah, just the look.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. Mexican coca or jarritos?
Jarritos.
How terrible are jarritos for you and Mexican coca or cokes in general? Like, I know people know about it, but it seems like knowledge is not power, right? You know, but you don't care to do anything about it. You just know that it's
super
bad.
terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
On top of the sugar intake, and a lot of people that have diabetes, especially in the raza, the Mexican community, a lot of them have diabetes. Like they have diabetic
heart
issues,
disease, a lot of heart disease and diabetes.
Alzheimer's is type 3 diabetes. So if they're consuming all this extra sugar, which is in the sodas, then of course they're never going to get better. They're never going to heal. So, and on top of that, they're using fake sugar. I don't know about the Mexican Cokes. I'm pretty sure they use like fructose corn syrup and all that. But if there's fructose corn syrup in drinks, then that's fake sugar, and it's just going to be worse than regular sugar. So
the least of the least evil will be jarritos because they actually use cane sugar, supposedly.
Yeah, it's been a while.
But okay, I'm not saying go drink a jarrito, but I'm saying
That
A
sounds
little
good
bit
right
better.
now. Yeah. My mouth is watering right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Man, the
drink
sugar,
this
the
water.
sugar, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. Agua de horchata, Jamaica, or tamarindo.
Think Jamaica,
Yeah.
just because it has, in my opinion, it has better health benefits.
Health benefits. That's what we're going to
Jamaica,
ask you too. Which one you think has better
Yeah.
health benefits? Great. Salsa verde, salsa roja.
Salsa roja, spicy type dude.
How beneficial is for you to eat spicy food in your life, including in your diet? Is it not necessary? No
I'm
matter.
sure there's benefits to it. I'm sure like it like opens up your pores or something. I'm not too sure about the benefits, but
Cool.
yeah, I just love spicy food and
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah.
Can't do without it.
yeah.
Conchita breads, the pastries. Do you like the brown ones, the white ones, the pink ones?
Say the brown ones.
The brown
'cause
ones?
It just reminds me of chocolate, and I love chocolate.
Again, how
Chocolate, yeah.
terrible are conchitas for you in general? También.
I'm sure. I mean, it's
The sugar, the flour.
I'm more worried about the flour. Like
Yeah?
it's more like nowadays the
Why is
flour.
that?
Processed flour. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we make our own bread at the house.
Oh, wow.
We make sourdough bread. So yeah, I
Nice.
definitely recommend getting into that. Just make your own bread. It's pretty easy. You got to grow your own culture.
Yeah. I hear about that.
Yeah, my lady does most of that. So, but it's totally doable. Sourdough, and just if you are eating bread, just make sure that you're doing your due diligence and knowing the source of where like all that's coming from. If
Yeah.
it's like high bleached flour, then of course you don't want that. I think that's what it's called, high bleached flour.
Yep.
But
Bleach flour. Bleach usually I think is the term that they have on every ingredient.
Mhm.
Okay. For me, I feel like the FDA, the Food Administration, whoever they are, I just feel like they're there to kind of sort of like give the okay that it's not going to kill you, but maybe it's not the best thing for you, but they're not going to say it. They're just going to be, oh, you're not going to die if you eat it type of. Do you
Yeah.
think this like that? Because a lot of the stuff that they allow to be put in and supposedly okay to consume in other places of the world, they don't allow it.
Exactly.
And whenever it's tied to the government or somebody that can be influenced
Big
to,
Pharma.
you know what I mean? To me, I just feel like it's just
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
That's like a huge debate. A lot of people say that it's not going to do any harm. Of course, it's not going to do any harm if you're eating small portions of it. But if you're continuing to consume that day in, week by week, then it adds up. It adds up. And then, of course, it's going to lead up to certain diseases and sicknesses, obesity, overweight. So, of course, a small portion, they're going to say it doesn't do any harm. But how much of it can you intake before it does do
See, that's
harm?
the thing they don't disclose, right?
Yeah.
You can eat this small portion, and they always go back to the label, one serving, whatever. And as we told you, it's in the label, right? It says one serving right there. That's what you're supposed to eat.
Yeah.
We're not telling you eat 2 of them, 3 of them. You know, if you do it, there's going to be consequences. They don't ever say that. They don't ever say, if you keep overeating this, there's going to be massive consequence for you doing it. You know, you're okay to eat a little bit, but don't overdo it. They don't go in that campaign saying that stuff, you know?
And they put stuff in the foods that make it addicting, so it's kind of hard for people to stop. Yeah.
Oh, man.
But it's in the name, the Food Drug Administration, like Food, Drugs Administration. It's all connected. The food, the drugs, the Big Pharma, they're in bed with the food that we're consuming here. So they want us sick and they profit from people that are sick. So
we'll talk about that more because I want to get in more detail about that. Okay. This is the longest preguntas al chile, by the way, because I know anytime I ask anybody these questions, I know they're fun and everything, but I want people to be educated as far as like this is good stuff, but don't have too much of it, you know, just portion. Yeah. All right. A conspiracy theory that you heard one time, and when you heard it's like, it has to be true. No way that's not true. What would that be?
That it has to be true?
Like when you heard it in your mind, you're like, man, that has a really strong possibility of being true. What would that be?
There's a lot of things that I question. Like, so I can name a few.
Of course.
I mean, giants, Tartarians.
What's Tartarians?
I don't know, some type of giants that are in the land or have been in the land. Reptilians, bioengineering, weather modification.
Oh, that's real. They do it in Dubai all the time.
Yeah, they're probably doing it right now. Yeah. So, weather modification. Yeah, it's real. They actually like came out on the news and admitted like it's real.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
That's crazy, right?
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. And There's a lot, but I don't want to make this podcast controversial.
I believe the giant parts at one time in history, or maybe even something that we don't know anymore. Lizard people. Is that because of some of the videos you've seen, or is there another something that you kind of sort of seen that makes you want to like?
I've seen videos of the what? Sorry,
just a video that you've seen and be like, oh, that looks kind of interesting.
Yeah. UFOs, just extraterrestrial beings.
Okay, yeah. There's no controversy here. It's all facts, by the way. I'm just kidding. Okay, so when you hear the word Latino or Latina or Latinx, what comes to mind to you? First thing that comes to mind.
I would say we're much more bigger than that. Like, just stick with your roots. Just say you're Mexican.
Yeah.
Like, Latino, like, to me, if you break down that word, is like there's a no in there at the end. Like, with the Mexican, there's more positive can. So
gotcha.
That's just me. Yeah.
Oh no, I like it. I never heard it that way, and it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Right. Power in words. Power the way you speak.
Exactly.
I never thought about it like that.
It's black magic. Our words are very powerful.
True that. Okay. So let's get started with a little bit of your history. So are you first generation to go to school Mexican American?
Yeah.
Correct. Your parents are from Mexico, or what area?
My mom's from Guerrero. My dad's from Querétaro.
Querétaro. And do you happen to know a little bit of their journey to the States, or they never share with you how they got here?
I know a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have? You want to share with us how did they make their way? Like, for example, my dad years ago, 85, left my mom to make a better life for himself, crossed illegally, of course, and it'll even before 85, and then he tried to make it in Mexico, grow crops. Bad storm, hail messed up the crops. There was no way to recoup, so he made his way to Al Norte and make a better life for himself. He's of course 100% legal now. I'm a citizen too, so calma. But I don't know if they ever share anything like that. I like to ask those questions, at least for my parents.
From what I know, I remember my parents talking about how my mom wanted to leave because her family, her immediate family, was going to come to migrate over here in Texas, and they already had a daughter, and my dad didn't want to come, so he was kind of pressured into coming because they're going to leave without him or not. So he had no choice but to go with my mom, who were already married at that time. So I don't know what exact year, but they came here to Texas, into Dallas, and my mom just started off with the restaurant business. She was always in the restaurant business. She still is.
Wow.
She owns a restaurant now still.
Which one? Give her a shout out. Maybe we'll stop by.
It's in Leonard, Texas. Not a lot of people know about that small town, but it's just one.
What's the name of the spot?
Florentina's Tex-Mex.
Florentina's Tex-Mex. If you're in around that area, you pass by Florentina's Tex-Mex, make sure you stop by, eat some delicious food.
So she started off in the restaurant business and still is. Probably going to die in the restaurant business. Like, that's all she knows. So they didn't really have any education, not even high school education in Mexico. So all they knew was work. And we started here in Dallas. I grew up in Oak Lawn, White Cliff area. Then moved to the north of Dallas in like the Webb Chapel, Walnut Hill area. And now I'm living over here in Oak Cliff. So I'm sure there's more like history behind all that. But
that's so good. I like that part. Okay, so let's get started with your journey, right? In high school, you were a little bit interested in chiropractor. It wasn't something maybe that you dreamed about, right? But somewhere in high school, somebody mentioned to you, you got a little bit interested for a little bit, but then you went about your life, didn't really care. Went to college, and you started doing I believe it was what is that? The college part where
kinesiology.
Kinesiology. So somebody else, there was a speaker that mentioned chiropractor again, and all of a sudden you just started kind of sort of being more interested in that. What did that person say, that speaker, that kind of sort of started triggering you and make you think that maybe that's something that you want to pursue?
He was more of like athletic chiropractor, and I was like already wanting to be an athletic trainer or coach. I was already kind of like dipping my toes in that pool.
Undergraduate, right? That's
in undergrad at UNT, North Texas. And that just caught my attention. I was like, oh, I thought about this before. Like, why is this coming up again? So I always say that chiropractic chose me because it just kept coming back to me. But for me, I pursued it for the wrong reasons. I was chasing the money So I was really looking at the annual salary of different professions and wasn't really passionate about it as much as I am now.
Right.
So I was just in it for the wrong reasons. And I went to chiropractic school and was still in it for the wrong reasons until like the middle of my chiropractic schooling. I wasn't the best student, so I was struggling. Um, and then I was just getting myself out there with other chiropractors that were out in the field versus the professors that were in school, because a lot of them are there just to teach for
Mm-hmm.
a paycheck and they're not successful. So, um, I'm glad I like seeked out mentorship. That's why mentorship and seeking out coaches or people that are successful in their own field is super important, where we can learn from them. And, we need to strive to be better.
Yeah.
So, and get wisdom from them, because if we're just learning from the system, then that can only take you so far. And if I would have stayed learning in the system, only in the school, I would have been, just your average mediocre insurance taker practitioner, and insurance base
Yeah.
is medical base. So I'm more in the eastern side of healing versus western, which is the United States. Where they majorly fall to is the western side of healthcare, which is drugs, injections, surgeries, which is like extreme route. I'm more least invasive route where people can have the opportunity
Yeah.
to heal. And yeah, most people go insurance based because they want to milk the insurance companies to get more money out of it.
It's guaranteed money, right?
Exactly.
So insurance is going to pay if you have insurance,
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah. And to each their own, people have to pay their bills and whatnot. But I was miserable after graduation and working with somebody that was taking insurance. And luckily, I graduated 2019, and I was reluctant enough to get let go of because of the pandemic. So I was glad that happened, because I was there for like 3 or 4 months and I was already miserable. I was just doing a lot of computer work, not really putting my hands on people. And it's more computer work and billing and stuff like that.
Thank you so much for being here today and checking out this amazing episode. Make sure you go and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment and a like. And now back to the episode.
Even though they had their own staff, add some help too, but I was doing a lot of the back work. And
So you were not exercising what you went to school for.
Exactly,
And,
yeah.
there's something power in the hands, right? To be able
Exactly.
to touch people and heal people.
Yeah,
There's many people use their hands for healing.
exactly.
You know,
And it's
and
ancient.
the touch
They've done
itself,
it since ancient times, before even chiropractic was even existing.
Yeah.
Like they did it back in the caveman days. Like our ancestors were using just our hands before, Big Pharma blew up, before all the medications blew up. Like they're already healing each other in one way or another, through the food, through other types of ways.
Herbs, teas, all kinds of stuff out there that you can find.
The sun,
the sun,
nature,
grounding, all that stuff.
Yep.
Okay, let's go backtrack a little bit to the mentorship part, right? I got to interview Los Primos. It's a nonprofit organization that focuses specifically on Hispanic Latino mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought it was freaking amazing. I think you'll be a great candidate for them. I don't know if you consider mentoring anybody, but their organization is doing amazing work.
Mm-hmm.
They started the kids very young, and it's great that they're doing that type of work, because a lot Mexicanos, although our culture maybe are not so strong or knowledgeable or really know about the benefits of you finding somebody that can help you out, because your parents maybe are maxed out, or maybe they're your parents. You can't build a relationship or a trust relationship that you can listen to another person that can help you and keep growing, right?
Yeah.
So when you were being mentor, what is it that specifically he said or your mentor said that you started kind of sort of like, maybe the insurance way is not going to be for me. Maybe I just need to be going in a different direction.
To me, I just vibed with my mentor, because he wasn't really worried about what people were coming in with. Like he already knew, he had the confidence, like that whatever it is that people are labeled with, whatever they have, anybody can heal from anything, whether it's cancer, diabetes, whatever disease it is, you can heal from anything as long as you give the body an opportunity to. So that just gave me hope. because in school they just teach us about diagnosis. They teach us about labeling, pain base, and that's not what healing is all about. That's not what chiropractic is all about, because we're much more than that. We're much more than just our bodies. We're dealing with the mind. We're dealing with the soul as well. We're not just our physical bodies. So a lot of people are caught up in the fear-based paradigm versus with like they label you or they diagnose you. And if you break down the word diagnosis is two people guessing what they think you have, but they don't really know. There's two people guessing if you break down the word diagnosis. So it doesn't really matter what you're labeled with. Like you can always break free from that label.
Yeah.
And you can heal from anything. You just have to give yourself an opportunity to seek that true guidance to do that. A lot of people go to Mexico like if they get a diagnosis of cancer because they're going to approach it differently how they approach it here. Here they're going to radiate you. And like a lot of people end up, passing away regardless, which is sad. Like it sucks, but a lot of people go their different routes as well with it. And, they take the risk to do that as well.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I feel for the people that have lost loved ones to cancer. It's a tough time dealing with all that. But
to your recommendation for somebody that's dealing with that, I'm not saying they're going to heal, but radiation is kind of sort of not going to be the way. Medication they're going to give you maybe just not going to be the way. It's almost a direct path towards. I don't doubt that there has been people that like save themselves with that, but what do you think would be a better path for them to maybe have a better chance? Is there anything that you've seen, you read, you looked into, you practiced, you've seen it with your own eyes with a particular person?
I would start off by just changing your habits because obviously what led you there was your habits, and you have to, start somewhere with changing what you're programmed into doing already. Like we have to learn how to unprogram ourselves and learn something different, a different approach, changing our diets, doing a fast. A lot of people are just addicted to the foods that they don't know when to stop. Like we need to stop at some point and reevaluate what we're doing and what we're putting inside of our bodies that's creating that type of environment that's creating those diseases.
Yeah. Habits. You said habits, and I think one of your interviews you had very interesting habits back in the days. One of the interviews you disclosed that you were actually making your way through college, even high school, through cheating. And I know your mentor had to impact you, and you have to do the right thing for the right thing to happen. Is that kind of sort of the person who guided you to, you have to do the right thing? You can't be, taking shortcuts because it's not going to lead you anywhere? Is that kind of sort of where it came from, or where did it came from?
One of my mentors, yeah.
Yeah?
Not my chiropractic mentor, or in a way he did.
What did your mentor tell you that you kind of sort of, it clicked in your head like, oh?
Whatever you put out there, it's going to return to you. So if you're cheating, if you're caught up in the vices, you're cheating the system, it's going to come back to you. Karma, you're going to have karmic debt. So if you cheat on your spouse, you're going to be living with that consciousness of just like, I did my people wrong. I did this person wrong, or, I cheated my way up to the top, or I cheated my way to, it just catches up. It comes back to you. So, we just have to be aware of that and just be real about it. Like if we're not in the position we want to be, we're probably in some type of karmic debt that we're paying, and that we have to, eventually face it and, get rid of it versus, getting caught up in or just versus just like numbing ourselves with the alcohol, the drugs, because we don't want to face the reality of what we've done in the past.
Okay.
The trauma in the past as well.
Now, you started as a chiropractor, but throughout your career, I don't know where it came that you started becoming a life coach, studying. I don't know if you worked on certifications and things like that, because really, I don't think there's a degree, right? There's just a lot of certifications. I don't know if there's a particular school that you attended for that, or where did life coaching come about? Where did you started to want to go that direction also?
The life coaching happened with one of my mentors. He was just one of the most successful at it. He still is. His name is Wes Watson. I don't know if you heard of him, but I've learned.
I'll look him up.
Yeah, he's definitely doing it.
Mm-hmm.
He got out of prison, and just became successful within like 5 years by mentoring and coaching people in the online space. So I've been learning a lot from him. So I've been taking a lot from what he's been teaching, and all he is doing is just teaching men how to be better men. That's what I'm trying to do as well. I'm trying to focus on the Latinos as well, and men in general, because everywhere we go, it's kind of sad, but I just see a lot of unhealthy people coming from my background in the healthcare world. I see a lot of people that are just, they could be better. And I'm trying to help people realize, like, you need to do better. If not, it's going to lead you in the wrong direction. Your people need you, and you can't be just selfish and not do better for yourself, because if you don't do better for yourself, then you're not going to do better for your people. And you need to step it up. If not, especially the men, because there's a lot of suicidal rates, suicidal thoughts among the male population,
Right.
because people aren't living in a purposeful life, and I want to help people get back into alignment, into their purpose, versus being caught up in the depression, the anxiety, all the diseases and stuff like that. And that just really hits me. I mean, sometimes I get like negative thoughts. Everybody does. And
Everybody does.
we live in a cruel world, in the cold world. So we have to be tough as men. And I feel like society is just like intentionally trying to shape us to be weaker as a society, especially the men. They're trying to target the men on being weaker, so that we won't be there to protect our people, this country, the world. So it's
What is the
important.
end game of that? Making weaker men in the world. Who benefits from that?
The higher ups, the elites.
And who do you think is that particular people? I know that people throw Illuminati, Masons, blah, blah, blah. Who do you think is really in control? I think it's the bankers, wherever the bankers are in the world. But who do you think, in your opinion?
I'm not gonna say it because I'm gonna get a lot of controversy on it. And I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate and probably a lot of threats.
You think so?
Yeah, if I say the specific group, I'm not anybody that you said, but there's a certain group that's out there that's they've rewritten history and they manipulated history. And
You talking about the Rothschilds and all those names, or you're not even close to anything?
it's probably them and other higher up elite families. Yeah.
See, that's the thing, though. For me, I heard those names, I hear it, but how is it that they are able to be in a little room in a computer watching TVs and manipulating things? I don't think it's the way they do it, right? I think it's more of like
they control it with their money.
the
The money.
influence and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like us as society, we're only working probably like 1% of the money that they have, and we're in the rat race of chasing that 1%,
Right.
and they have all the rest of the
I said the
money.
name. He didn't say the name, right? So
The Rothschilds. Oh, I'm not worried about that.
or
Yeah.
whoever they are,
Yeah.
I respect. You don't want to say it. I don't want to have you to have
Yeah.
issues with whoever the people, but there is that feeling, right? For some people that want to do better for themselves, that there is some type of something.
There's an
and
agenda
somebody has to be
to make us weaker, so
over.
we won't get together and fight the system.
Yeah, I like
So
that.
they're targeting the men and the children. It's in our food, it's in the air, and they're just intentionally trying to make us weaker so we can be dependent on the meds and the whole medical system. So, I mean, the medical system is necessary, but only for like emergency situations, for like broken bones, car accidents, but not for every little thing. Like, people are just 70% of the US population is on prescription medications.
Yep.
Like, even the youngsters are on that. So I'm trying to just bring more awareness to people like that to better themselves.
We're
become
almost
stronger.
at Big Pharma. We're almost at Big Pharma. I got one more question before that, because you said something along, I think where you work at, the description of the part you work with, or I think I've seen it there, that you try to keep people to stay sober and be sober. Personally, I'm dealing with, alcoholism within my family, right? How do you get to talk to somebody to steer them in the right direction. If they're suffering from that disease, it is a disease, right? Whether it be traumas from years that they have to deal with, that parents, grandparents, whatever the case might be. Now they're kind of in a rut. They can't really shake it off. They're trying to be a functional. They think it's not normal for them to not be able to drink 2 drinks and not go in a binge. How do you get to talk to somebody like that to try to help them out?
I mean, we just got to be a living example of, you know, of being better. Like a lot of people, if they see that and they see somebody that's inspirational and they tell you they don't drink, they're sober and they're getting ahead of life and they're just loving life, most importantly, like hopefully that inspires them in itself.
What if they're already in a rut and they're already suffering from that? Do you ever get to deal with those type of individuals and get them some help before you're able to? Or are you able to do anything yourself for them?
I've dealt with a couple of people like that, and it's difficult to be dealing with people like that because they've recently or been through some type of trauma, and sometimes I haven't had anybody where I like had to send them to get help. I don't know. I just feel like just being that example and just showing them which way to go.
What if it's an older gentleman, older grandfather? Things some of those people are not, or the individuals are not willing to hear you because they're older than you are, being a young person.
Yeah, those are the type of people that are going to be harder to deprogram because, I mean, they might be caught up in their ego and they'll be like, "What does this young person know? Like, I've lived longer than him," but I don't get caught up in their decisions. Everybody has their own decisions to make,
right?
Their own choices. So I don't get caught up in that thought process. Like, if you want to ruin your life with alcohol and drugs, then so be it. I'm not gonna stop you. Like, I wish better for you. Like, I wish you could stop so you can live a better expression and how God intentionally made you.
What if it's a loved one?
A loved one?
What if it's a loved one?
Then, I mean, same thing. Like, everybody has their own choices. Like, if you die from this or you get sick, like it was your choice. Like, what could I have done? I'm here. I'm showing you. I'm gonna put myself out there. Like, I'm gonna talk to you about it. Like, if you need help, I got you. But if you don't want to change, like after me attempting to help you, then and showing you how I'm doing it, being sober, then that's your decision. Like, if that's how you want to live life, like, I can't control anybody else's actions. Like, you're just, at the end of the day, you're just killing yourself at a quicker rate. You're putting others in danger. You're being selfish at that point. And, you can change your life around. You're consistent with all the drugs and the alcohol every weekend. But just imagine if you're consistent with your own personal goals, like that can actually benefit you in the long run. Like,
so is that the type of things that you talk to people about to be better, just to make sure that they always hear that type of message that you can be better if you want to, instead of focusing on this, it takes away from your life. You can focus on this and make your life a whole lot better.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. That's great. All right. Let's talk about Big Pharma. I have this thought, right? A long time ago, I had this thought that, and it came from something that happened. So I'm a veteran. I go to the VA sometimes. And it's very rare because I feel like I'm good. I'm great. I'm mental wise. I'm always healthy. I got a great body. I do my best to eat the best as possible. I do all that. Exercise, not so much like I used to, but it's always in my mind, right? To do better, meditate, all that stuff.
Nice.
So I went to get checked because I had changed my diet. Now I eat vegan. And again, it chose me and it chose it. It just happened to be that I couldn't do it anymore. Disgusting. I understand. The meats require certain things I require, especially the vitamin B3. I need to, find the best supplement to be able to get it in my body so I don't have to be deficient of it, right? So I wanted to get blood work, make sure everything was good. Doctor, sit down. Everything looks great. All right, yes. Cool. All right. Feel any way? No, I'm feeling great. Okay. You want me to give you anything? I'm like, give me anything? What do you mean? Like, you said I was fine. What are you talking about? Oh, no, just wondering if you wanted, to give you a prescription. I'm like, that was weird.
Some hydrocodone.
That was weird.
Make some lean.
That was weird to me. To tell me that I'm fine and to want to recommend me or give me a prescription for what?
Yeah.
It made me think in my mind, like, this guy must get some kind of kickers from
Mm.
somebody,
Incentives.
even at the VA. And it's all assumptions, right? But it was just a weird situation for me that he said my blood work was fine and there was no issues at that time. And all of a sudden now you're telling me that I don't doubt that because I went to Iraq and things like that, I have to still adjustment. It's a struggle for me to be able to be good all the time.
Mm.
It's not a struggle, more of like I have to be disciplined to be this way all the time in order for me not to suffer and be a statistic or have
Mm.
issues with myself. I have to be disciplined on it.
Mm.
It's always work.
Yeah.
It's not, it's a done deal
Yeah.
because of the things that I've been to, the things that I experienced, right? So it just tripped me the heck out that he wanted me to give me something. Within that, it made me think that the doctors nowadays for me seems like they just like they do with the schooling that it just put you in a line conveyor belt of education, very limited, to where get you lined up to college to spend a bunch of money and line you up with a job.
Mm.
I think the doctors to this day, big pharma, pharmaceutical companies have a big influence in the doctors to where all they teach them by the book and
Exactly.
diagnose a certain medicine up to a point and just keep them going because there's big business in keeping you sick and keeping you with medicated, right?
Mm.
I don't doubt that there's a few doctors they see and want to explore other options, holistic, natural ways for them, but I just feel that a lot of them, maybe not their fault, but up to a point it's their fault if they don't decide to do it a different way. Because at the end of the day, if you become a doctor, I get it, it's profitable, there's money. But at the end of the day, I think I don't know if you take an oath or not, but you're supposed to look after the person to make sure they're
Mm.
good, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well, I would argue the main thing that kills people here in the United States is doctor induced. They say it's cancer, they say it's heart attacks, but I feel like Big Pharma has their toes dipped into that pool as well. They make profit from heart attacks and cancer. So why wouldn't they want people with that as well? So, and they have all this money for this research. They're asking for this money, but the statistics are still going up with cancer and heart attacks. And yeah, they do, like you said, they do get paid to push all these medications and all these injections. If they don't meet a certain quota, then they're not going to get paid. If the kids are not being injected, they're not going to get paid. They get paid by each thing that they're pushing. So that's how they make their money. And like you said, they're playing by the books. They know better, but they gave their time away. They gave their life away to study this, and sometimes they have no choice. And there's some doctors, the medical doctors, that drift away from the medical field because they know that they're doing more harm than good.
Yeah.
So they go about it in a different manner. So yeah, you hit it right in the nail. Like a lot of people are dying because, doctor induced deaths.
And not to mention, I heard this other video from this, she's known in I guess she does a lot of podcasts and some kind of doctor in regards to nutrition and things like that. And she was talking about we overeat but undernourished, and that tripped me out because I heard it before from this guru guy too, right? Like the soil is different from where it used to be back in the days, right? Everything in regards to your vegetables, your fruits, right? Orange that you grew 10 years ago now doesn't have the same nutritional value that if you from the same soil that you get it now. In order for you to get the same nutrition from the orange back in 10 years ago, you have to eat like 3 oranges to get the same amount of nutrition.
I believe that, yeah.
Which you eating it, you have to eat those 3 oranges in order to get just close to the same value, right? So you, with everything being so broken as far as like food and stuff like that, what is the best way? I know you want to kind of sort of look at the label to be this. I know you're trusting the FDA that's organic and it really is grown from the ground and there's no pesticides, anything else. What is the best approach for you to food?
For me, what we do is, it's kind of hard to grow your own food. I would recommend, getting back to those roots. And if society does end up falling, like we're going to have to go back to that and growing our own crops, especially with AI technology on the rise. Like if they take over, like what is other people, like what are they going to be able to do as far as like their jobs? Like people are going to be laid off. Like we need to get back to those roots of going back to farming and, um, trading our services as well, whatever we have to offer. And that includes crops.
Yeah.
But how we do it in our household, we buy from local farms.
Hmm.
And then we just go and get organic stuff as much as possible, even though it might not be organic, but at least we're trying. We make conscious decisions on our food intake.
Hey, the placebo thing might work.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I heard being grateful and being appreciative for your food and being in a happy state, even if it's not the best quality stuff, still it's even better for you than
emotionally,
to be emotionally like dislike this stuff,
Yeah, being
That's
grateful.
great. Yeah.
Being grateful of everything, like being awake. Another opportunity is just like increases our energy as well and just appreciates life. And
Yeah,
we, have a better day versus, being angry and ungrateful.
absolutely.
It makes a huge difference, especially with our food.
Why are you called to do the work that you do? Why do you think you were chiropractic chose you, life coaching chose you? Why?
It's a call from above, and I'm trying to answer all the messages that's coming from above. And we're all connected, and we can all answer those messages from above, from consciousness, from God. So I'm just trying to do God's work. I am doing God's work. I'm not trying, I am. But sometimes it's hard because, we have to work our way up there to, um, get to that energy state of, being connected with source. We can't just be at a low state thinking that we're going to get the messages. We got to earn it. And that's where fasting comes in as well. Like we got to earn those messages. Like we can't just say we're connected to God if we're living a mediocre life. If we're unhealthy, out of shape, we can't just say we're doing God's work because you're not even putting in the work in your own life to better yourself. So, why do I think it's my calling is, I don't know. I'm just answering the messages from above as much as possible because I've been so naive to it as well, like from the past. And I was just neglecting those messages and thinking I knew what I was doing. But in reality, I was just drifting away. I was just going in the wrong direction. But now that I realize that I want to be connected to those messages constantly and just giving the messages out as well as much as I can with that connection, then I'll live a purposeful, fulfilling life at the end of the day if I can do that.
When I hear you talk about the way you talk, express yourself regarding to God, source, some of those terms don't align with religion. Are you not necessarily speaking regarding to religion, right?
No, I'm not.
What
No.
exactly you're referring to as far
I
as the
don't
way you
really
work?
trust religions just because they just in a way that it divides us and it's man-made, and in each religion there's some type of corruption that happens. I would even like the highest priest, like just the other day over here at the cathedral, like he got arrested for molesting a child. So, and my girl is super, super Catholic. I grew up Catholic, and something in my heart, I'm just like kind of like I'm iffy about it, but I go for the spiritual reason and not for the religious aspect of it and like the whole how they do things. Like I know there's a God up there, and that's what I try to focus on is just that connection with God, not in a religious standpoint. I just know there's a source out there that is keeping us alive, and it's in each and one of us, and it's up to us to connect with that. If not, we're going to be numb to it, and people numb themselves from it with the vices, the drugs, the alcohol, the distractions, the entertainment, and we lose that connection. And if anything, we need to be connected to that as much as possible to live the life that we want to live, that we were not going to regret in our deathbed, because a lot of people are just dying in their deathbed, regretting life. And you can tell that whenever you see somebody dying, like, they regret not living life more or what they could have been, because they could have had a bigger impact or higher potential on, life. So I don't want to be that. So I want to, again, be tapped into that spiritual side, and actually do the work. I'm not going to just talk about it. We have to put in the action.
Right.
We can't just have faith without work. So I know there's higher intelligence out there that's keeping us alive. That's, that's working the laws of physics. That's that we're breathing in the air and the carbon's coming out of us and just keeping us alive. That's a miracle in itself, you know, just being alive another day and being grateful and just knowing that it's a blessing to be alive. Like that's another opportunity that we have to be living. And I think that's from source, from God. So, and then also going through the pandemic, a lot of the churches were closing. We weren't stepping up. Like, since when do we bow down to the government? Since when does the churches bow down? We're supposed to be believers of God, but yet again, we closed down. We made all these regulations and restrictions. I'm probably gonna get a lot of backlash
more than the other one.
That's why
more than the people controlling.
That's why I kind of stopped going to certain churches because of that. I was like, why are they making me like? I just want to go celebrate God, and I get they're trying to keep people safe, but I didn't really vibe with that.
What do you think if God provided everything for you, right, within yourself? You hear the term, you know, your body's a temple, but within that, everything was given to you to be able to. Why do you feel you need to go and celebrate at a place where maybe people, not because of them, I know you go for your own reasons, irrelevant to the human factor, you go for your reasons. Why can't you do it within whenever you're meditating or in your home or in another place to be able to be with God or a connection with God? Why do you feel it's necessary to go to a place for you? If He gave you everything inside of you.
I think if you're around people like that, there's something much more powerful. Like if you're in a communion with other people, there's much more.
Gotcha.
You can be connected with Source if you're around.
You said something in one of the interviews also. I was listening to your interview because I thought it was interesting. We all one. I hear that all the time, right? But me, sometimes my brain goes way left field and think about the universe being one. Everybody talks about everything's connected. We're all connected, blah, blah, blah. What does that mean necessarily? What does it mean we're all connected? To me, sometimes it feels like this whole universe is a huge, like just like we have little cells that we can't see. This is a whole entire living body, and we're just like this little bitty cell that we're just very minimal to everything else that's big. And that's the reason why we feel like it's oneness, because we're just a big part of this massive body, whatever it is, and that's why it makes us connect. That's just my mind thinking. It could be. I don't know.
I like it. I like that thought. Yeah.
So what do you think it is that makes us oneness, that makes us connect, that makes, you know, make feel like we're one with it, with everything?
I think we're just all part of, you know, universal intelligence, God, and we're all connected in one way or another. If somebody's feeling down, we're going to feel that as well. We're going to feel that in the universe. Doesn't matter if they're near us or if they're in the other side of the country. That's where we can feel that type of energy, and as a collective, and we have to know what's going on and break that and bring more positive and solutions to that, so that we can help people get through those times and bring more encouragement and just more encouragement on to live better. If somebody is down or we're feeling the frequency is kind of off, we're kind of in the same boat. It's kind of like a cloudy day, like people are feeling down, and then a sunny day and people are feeling happy, or the Cowboys win it, a lot of people are happy, so we're all connected. I'm not a Cowboy. I mean, I am, but I don't watch too much sports, but it's kind of like that with the universal aspect, like if we're all connected in that type of energy field where people are down, up, in the middle, and we can kind of feel that unconsciously. We can feel that.
No, but there is a something that you can sense it. There's a tragedy that happens on the other side of the world. Like there's something that you can sense. You know, if there's happiness on another place, you can, even if being on the other side of the world, you can still kind of sort of get this thing. You know, this feeling about it.
Yeah, or you can sense that something big is going to happen soon, or the energy's off, or there's a false story going on, gossip story. The mainstream media trying to spread propaganda, fear.
On both sides.
Yeah, exactly. On both sides, whatever side. And yeah, we can feel that in our own intuition, our own heart. Okay. So,
and how can I help you? I know you sent me these are some of the questions he sent me, but I'm really interested to know, how can I help you? How can I be of service to you?
How can you help me?
Yes.
I mean, keep just doing your thing and bringing awareness, like bringing positivity into the community, into the Latino community, the Mexican community, the Hispanic community, whatever you want to call it. And, keep bringing that positivity into the world. Keep, doing your podcast,
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. It means a lot. And we put a lot of work. There's a lot of money that's been invested. There's no return on it, but at the end of
It's
the
a
day,
nice investment.
it's a great investment
It's
because
a beautiful building too.
yes. Well, it's not our building yet, but one of these days we'll have our own area where we're able to call and you're welcome to come visit us and be there. It's just for the reasons, right? You always want to start something, maybe hoping that you can do something. Very after you lose that feeling of it. I know it's gonna come, but in the meantime, you just want to do the work to be able to impact the community. That's just like
that's all we can do.
It's like way more than any freaking trillions of dollars to influential people. We know we're awakening.
Gotta start.
We know we are awakening these individuals that should be awake for many years that were suppressed for conquerors and all this, and all of a sudden they're starting to realize that they're great, that they're being empowered, and they're being encouraged to go forward and do amazing things like yourself, and then just be more than everything else that everybody tells them to. We just need to just keep just like the media. The reason why the media works so good is because they keep telling you the same crap over and over and starts making reality for you, right? What are we going to do? We got to do the same thing. We're going to counter that with the same thing over and over. You're great. You're powerful. You're strong. You're amazing. Look at this great representation of this amazing individual doing great things for himself. His mind's good. You know, it took work, but he's doing it.
Yeah.
And we just got to keep doing it over and over and over and over.
Just breaking those limiting beliefs, the fear, limiting beliefs. A lot of people are living in a fearful state. It even comes from our parents, from churches.
And that's low energy if you live in when everything's beautiful. I know you said earlier it's a hardcore world, but sometimes it is a very beautiful world. You should be able to enjoy those beautiful times, knowing that you are a strong individual. If
it's
time comes when it's hard, you can go ahead and step up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the thing is, we got to prepare ourselves for those moments too. Yeah. Because the pain is an opportunity. Those tough times is an opportunity. We can't just think of it, oh, it's going to be hard. No, it's an opportunity. It just depends on our perspective of it. So
if people can only realize that this I don't remember who originally said it, but pain is temporary. I think it's Eric Thomas. Pain is temporary. It might last a minute, a day, an hour, but eventually it will subside and something else will take its place. When you are feeling hurt and you're crying and you shed tears, shortly after your body starts feeling a certain way and it starts creating feel good moments where you're done. You got it out of you and now you're in a better place. And it happens. Your body, like you said, I know you know better than I, that your body has everything it needs to be able to heal itself in every sense of the word, like not only physically, but emotionally, mentally, as long as you dedicate it and give it that time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't listen too much of Eric.
I just like that.
That's a good quote. Yeah.
I just like that one.
he's a good motivational speaker, but is he really living that type of life?
I don't think so either. And I'm very careful with those, right?
Yeah, we gotta be careful what we listen to.
Sometimes it's just those little phrases, the things that you take, and that's what I look for, right? Those little moments of time, because I know that dude is not living that type of life. I know so. But just for whatever reason, that little message, for me, it worked. Les Brown, some of the things he said, I don't know if he's living the life he is. He doesn't look like he is, but some of the things that he said, like the one about in your deathbed speech that he has, very powerful. Just those little words. I don't indulge in their lives. I don't go to their conventions. I don't do all that because, again, I just don't know if they're living their life and I just rather not. But those little phrases that trigger you in a good way, that really impact your life, kind of sort of like when your mentor was talking to you, certain things that he said that were like impacted your life in a positive way, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're running short on time. Before I let you go, what is one that I just must ask? It's controversial too. I'm gonna get you in trouble. What do you think of fat shaming?
Fat shaming? I think there's no issue with it. There's a big movement that happened. It was where they're glorifying fat people. I forgot what the movement is called.
Is it obese? Is it more pleasant to say obese or is just fat?
I mean, it doesn't matter what we say. Like at the end of the day, what we say is what we say. Being fat, being obese is not healthy at the end of the day. So why is it shameful? If anything, I mean, that's how I come across sometimes. It seems like I'm bringing people down, but I'm really wanting them to do better. Like, people need to realize, like, you being overweight is going to lead to um, a worse life as far as your health. So it's not because I'm bringing you down. I used to be fat. I used to be chunky as well, and it was not the best feeling. I still remember till this day how I felt. Like, my confidence was low. I wasn't living my best life. Like, I wouldn't even want to take off my shirt at the pool. I would get in the pool with my shirt
With a
on.
shirt on.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was embarrassed. I was shameful, and I know a lot of people are like that. They don't even want to take their shirts off in public when we're in Texas and it's like 80, 90 degrees, 100 degrees. Like,
Now we
take off
can't find you with your
Like,
shirt
it's
on.
a man. Like, come
But
on.
now we can't find you with your shirt
Exactly,
on social media at least.
Yeah, on social media especially.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, you got to show it. Like,
Absolutely.
if you got it, then show it. I mean, same thing. But
I think so too. Like that, celebrating being overweight, you're not gonna see them past 40 something or more. Or if you do, they're gonna be diabetes, probably dead, diabetes,
yeah,
or a lot of medication, and it's just a miserable life, always in pain.
exactly.
You know,
So
I don't know what I don't know there is to celebrate for that. I just don't see no benefit. I mean, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying just not
it's possible to change your
it's
life around.
possible, but to have discipline to eat the right things, you know, to the best of your abilities, because I know it's very expensive sometimes, but the best decisions that you can make for yourself to try to eat better. Parks, all kinds of things are free.
Yeah,
You don't
just
have
go
to
on
have
a
a
walk.
membership. Yeah.
Or
So-
hire a coach that can help you out. Like, it's affordable.
Yeah. That's affordable again, but there's so many videos, YouTube videos that you can kind of sort of use to free things that you can start movement in general to help
People
yourself
need
better.
accountability though.
Yeah.
That's what they're missing. Like,
Yeah.
they can watch all the videos of all they want, but if they don't have the accountability, then they're not gonna stay consistent.
I got you. Okay.
But yeah, you're right about the people are dying because of being, overweight. Like, I've seen it personally firsthand. Like, I just found out yesterday, one of my high school buddies, well, he wasn't really a good friend, but we used to play basketball back in the day. He used to be a heavier set dude, and he just passed away. He was like 35 and
Probably
like
heart attack or something like that.
something, but he was overweight. I don't know what exactly he died
That's what I'm
from, but
saying.
yeah,
I don't know what
I've
we
seen it with other
celebrate.
people, yeah.
I don't doubt that people have issues as far as like traumas and issues that makes them maybe cause them to eat more. But you have to also work those things too, right? You can't be a victim of the things that a thought that happened years ago, a pain that cost you years ago, and you still ponder on that and let it lead your life to the point to where it's almost something that you can't return. But it's possible, right?
Yeah.
You just have to work at it.
Sometimes it's because of the parents. Like, the parents led them there too.
Yeah.
And also with the pandemic, most people that died, they died with comorbidities due to being overweight. They didn't die with just COVID. They were already unhealthy. They were already overweight. Most people were overweight and they had other stuff that was already happening with their
Underlying
health.
stuff,
Yeah,
right?
comorbidities. But the main issue was being overweight, obese, and a lot of those people ended up dying with COVID. They just labeled it with COVID. So
Okay.
because they got incentives and they got paid to label everything with COVID.
Big Pharma. Okay. Almost done. Before I let you go again, what is the message that you want to give to men, young men, whether it be young men, teen men, older men, midlife men, that it's important for them to know and that they must hear? What would that be?
It's never too late to change your life around. Like, if you hear this message, if you hear anybody that inspires you or, are living a type of lifestyle that you want, that you admire, then you can be that too. You have to create that person within you. You already have the power within you to create that person. You just have to make that decision to step it up and invest in yourselves. We have to make investments in our own selves, in our own personal life, personal growth, in order to make those changes to happen. And yeah, you just have to seek the guidance and stop just procrastinating, because procrastination is the life you could have lived. And the more time you waste, like, the more potential you waste as well. So it's better to get the guidance from people, and people are out there like, they want to help better people. And you have to trust the process, trust what your heart is telling you to do, and stop neglecting that and hiding from that, because it's only going to lead you in the wrong direction if you don't listen to your intuition of, becoming that better person, a better man that, the world desperately needs in the moment. Because, there's more women out there that are just stepping up than men, and it's sad to see. And we need to, step it up as men. We need to get back to our roots and stop going where society is trying to take us into being more weaker. Like back in the days, we used to get more like in fist fights, and now we get arrested for getting in fist fights. Like people don't want to get in fist fights, and they used to do that back in the days, in the ancient days, and now it's different. Like people don't know how to fight.
You think it was benefit of that type of violence, some way, somehow,
yeah,
to resolve?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. As long as nobody got killed or too hurt, there's still respect. There's definitely benefits. Yeah.
Okay. Before I let you go, can you, all your social media, tell us if you have any events coming up, where can they find you at, social media pages, all that?
You can find me at Doctor Francisco Guerrero on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook too, Doctor Francisco Guerrero. And then we usually have monthly events at our chiropractic space. It's a beautiful space, by the way.
And where you at located
We're
now?
in Oak Cliff off of Tyler and Jefferson.
And it's called?
R1 is community.
What's the address?
207 South Tyler.
Okay, we'll put the description on the YouTube video.
Sounds good. Yeah.
And every so often you say you have events?
Every third Friday at 5 p.m. we have a men's and women's ethic and holistical network meeting for
I need to make it there.
Yeah,
I'll make my way over there one of these days.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay. Shout outs. Any shout outs? Anybody that impact your life, your family, whoever, anything?
Shout out to you for having me here. Shout out to God, most importantly, my loved ones, my family, my fiance, and just the people that, drive that fire in me.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. What is an important lesson that you learned during learning chiropractor or life coach that you would tell your younger self that will help somebody else out? What would that be?
I would say invest in a coach early on and stop wasting time with the guesswork. And so that you can know how to do it with somebody that's already successful and already in the game, like getting results. It's all that matters is results. So we want to attain results and just keep going and getting those results versus, staying in a stagnant plateauing level or a downstream level. We want to keep climbing, learning from the best and do better than the best, because if anybody can do it, you can do it as well. So I wouldn't waste time on, trying to figure things out or waste time on distractions. Like I would say, just stay hyper focused, vigilant, and stay on purpose on your tasks, on your life goals, your life mission that God is assigning everybody. So, yeah.
I like that. Okay. So usually when I wake up or sometime during my day, I say something like, that I heard from a guru, Indian guru. I'm not immortal. I am mortal, and I will die one day. I'm not immortal. I am mortal, and I will die one day. Not to scare me, terrify me, or anything like that. But it's a reality in life, right? It happens to us. The time is gonna come one of these days, right? With that, it makes me want to hurry up and do things, right? It makes me realize it's beautiful to be alive now and focus on things. With that, I wish you a long, prosperous life. However, when everything's said and done, what do you want people to think and feel about your life?
I want people to think or know that I went all in. I didn't leave any pages unturned. I just went hard, and I just did all that I could. I'm waking up at 2:45 a.m. and just going hard all day, going to bed early, not getting caught up in the distractions and the vices, and just staying focused and doing what I can and living the best version of myself and giving it my all, and knowing that I was just one of the real motherfuckers out there that, was not just talking, but actually doing the work, and started from the bottom and just getting to wherever I'm going to end up being, wherever you're going to end up being. Like, I would encourage people like having that type of mentality and just reaching your fullest versus, being content, satisfied. We don't want to be known as that satisfied, comfortable person. Yeah. Like, never satisfy me. Be satisfied for like a minute or 10 minutes or so, but keep pushing forward, and push it to your max.
Yeah, it's good to enjoy the small victories for a second, right? To realize that you accomplished some things, right?
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate the time, the words, the everything. I don't doubt that you live a great life. And I know that if you so happen to start veering off, you realize that you're not and you align yourself, right? Because we are people, right? I don't think that I'm not perfect human type. I think it's an excuse sometimes to grab on and do dumb stuff, realizing because I'm human up. You were made, like your body was made perfect, right? You know, you just sometimes your mind is not there because of other things, but you can really get to that, right? Not necessarily maybe perfection like everybody sees it, but for you, for your mind, for your life, for your style, you want to live that for you because you can if you wanted to, right?
Yeah.
I appreciate so much for being here. Thank you so much for finding us, and I was able to find you, and when everything that I saw, I'm like, man, this is freaking amazing. People need to hear more about this. It's a great example for the Latino. The Global Land Factor shows amazing examples, stories of people doing amazing things, not just your regular typical workers in the construction or yard cutting. Very humble work, but there's other Latinos elevating themselves to different things, such as yourself. And then it's amazing to me. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate
you having me.
And without a doubt, Doctor Francisco Guerrero, you are a global Latin Factor. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
This was another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast. Remember to subscribe. Don't play. It's been 3 years. Don't be playing around. And remember, we are just like you. We are humans. We are the spice in this melting pot that it is the world. Till next time. Peace. Thank you very much for checking out this episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast. Make sure you go and subscribe to the channel. Check out the content and the episodes that we have ready for you. Thank you very much. Till next time.
Pero but in fact is a flamingo coming to Havana and from Puerto Rico.